Viewers, the Congress Party's latest resolution outlining its roadmap to counter the BJP is a curious document. I have the copy of that document, and the reason I call it a curious document because it looks like a patchwork of what? Nostalgia, contradictions, and dare I say, desperation. At its core lies a bold but bewildering claim, viewers, that Congress is the true torchbearer of Indian nationalism, distinct from the BJP's allegedly divisive brand. Viewers, this pivot to nationalism, spearheaded by Rahul Gandhi, is less a masterstroke than a glaring admission of the ideological bankruptcy of the Congress Party. When all else fails, economic promises, caste arithmetic, or minority appeasement, Congress seems to believe that waving the flag of inclusive nationalism will, you see, magically reconnect it with voters. But this move exposes a deeper problem. Congress's utter confusion about its mission as it gears up to challenge Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Congress's attempt to reclaim nationalism feels like a last-ditch effort to borrow from the BJP's playbook while also vilifying it at the same time. The resolution accuses the BJP RSS of promoting a nationalism that the Congress says erases India's diversity, contrasting it with the Congress's vision of a shared heritage that supposedly binds the nation. Viewers, this rhetoric raises more questions than it answers. What exactly is this shared heritage, and how does Congress plan to sell it to voters who have repeatedly across elections rejected its poll promises? For decades, viewers, Congress's brand of secularism was its calling card, often interpreted as a delicate balancing act of minority appeasement and soft majoritarianism. Now, with that formula failing to deliver, the party is scrambling to redefine itself as the guardian of what looks like an ill-defined nationalism. It's a move that reeks of opportunism rather than conviction. Viewers, just think of the irony here. Congress is accusing the BJP of divisive politics, yet its own history is riddled with instances of exploiting communal and regional fault lines for electoral gain. The examples are far too many, you know them, I'm not getting into that. But viewers, Modi's BJP has successfully woven a narrative of cultural pride, economic aspiration, and assertive governance. It resonates with millions who see it as a break from Congress's dynastic status quo's past. By contrast, Congress's nationalism seems like a pale imitation, a half-hearted attempt to mimic the BJP's emotional connect while clinging to its outdated cliche of diversity and inclusion. Viewers, Rahul Gandhi's leadership only amplifies the problem for the Congress Party. His attempts to project himself as a unifying figure, whether through temple runs, Bharat Jodo Yatras, or now this nationalistic posturing, lack credibility and authenticity. And I think the voters sense this. Modi's nationalism, for better or worse, is rooted in a clear ideological framework backed by the organizational muscle of the RSS. Congress's version, by contrast, feels like a focus group tested slogan without the grassroots conviction that's needed. Viewers, Congress's resolution looks less like a roadmap and more like a mirage. It reveals a party adrift, confused, for nationalism without the clarity or actually the courage to define what it stands for. To counter Modi and the BJP, Congress needs more than recycled rhetoric. It needs a soul. It needs a leader who has a vision and is ready for the 24/7 grind of politics.
मुझे यह पता लगाना था कि इस देश में किसकी कितनी भागीदारी है। उस समय मैंने कहा था कि देश का एक्सरे होना चाहिए। 50% की जो दीवार है, इसको हम पूरे देश में तोड़ के परे कर देंगे। जिस पार्टी के पास विचारधारा नहीं है, क्लैरिटी नहीं है, वो बीजेपी आरएसएस के सामने नहीं खड़ी हो सकती।
Let's open this up. Tuhin Sinha, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Vivek Silas, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Ravi Srivastava, political analyst. Sanjay Jha needs no introduction. Dr. Ranganathan completes the panel. Sanjay Jha, you know, you've written a piece also on what the Congress needs to do. But once again, dare I say, your advice, suggestion, what have you, has been rejected, overlooked. Before you discuss what are the 5 ideas you suggested, what do you make of this renewed nationalism pitch?
Pranesh, good evening. I just want to make one short statement that the Congress party should have never abandoned the strength of nationalism that it inherently possesses. I always felt, and I used to argue this even internally within the Congress, that it was absolutely preposterous that the BJP, which means basically not the BJP which was founded in 1980, but it's, you include the Jan Sangh, you include the real ideological founders, had no role to play in India's freedom movement. I mean, it was like absolutely bizarre that the BJP today sits as if it is the sole custodian of India's nationalism when it has no historical basis for that argument. And the Congress party, which has the most eminent leaders, including Sardar Patel, by the way, and kind of allowed the BJP to manipulate that perception. I feel that today, if the Congress is aggressively saying nationalism, Pranesh, it's a good thing. The problem is that, narratives cannot be episodic. They have to be sustained, and they have to be sustained not by one man or one person. It has to be an organizational dynamic. You're a veteran in the news world, and, media is such a critical part of a democratic conversation. The Congress party has to understand that you need to go, your public outreach, as you rightly mentioned, is 24/7. Just like today, the Congress is making a headline and has created this chat at 8 o'clock. The Congress needs to find its agenda being discussed at 8 and 9 o'clock by everybody. And that's hard work. And I feel today that better late than never, if the Congress party were to re-energize itself, I mean, I can tell you politics is so fluid, Pranesh. Things can change. You look at Donald Trump, right? He won an election with 49.x% of the votes. His popularity is already nosedived in America amongst his own vote bank. Things change. The Congress is allowing the BJP too much of a free pass.
I'm glad you've said it. I don't know, what to tell you, but then you'll have people like Ravi Srivastava who will differ with you. They differ with me, but now that, you are in agreement, he will differ with you. I'm sure Dr. Ranganathan will also weigh in on what you said. But, I want to pick on 2 things. You said Sardar Patel and you linked him to the Congress. But the Congress had forgotten about, appropriating Sardar Patel or even honoring his legacy. It is only after the BJP started doing it that the Congress woke up. And then you say, that you're glad that we're having this chat at 8 o'clock. But look at the reasons why we are having this chat. I mean, if you look at some of the statements that have been made at the CWC, you will not know what to say. I don't know. There is one, young leader in the Congress party. All of them are young. B.V. Srinivas. He said, Mahatma Gandhi fought against the East India Company. Rahul Gandhi is fighting against West India. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. Then you have another leader. In fact, Nadeem Javed. Just listen to it. I mean, listen to both these comments, then I'll bring in Tuhin Sinha.
अरे हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद, सोनिया गांधी हिंदुस्तान, राहुल गांधी हिंदुस्तान। एक बार बस बोलूंगा, आप बोल देना हम एक है। अरे आवाज दो। महात्मा गांधी जी ने ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी के खिलाफ लड़ाई लड़ा। आदरणीय हमारा नेता राहुल गांधी जी ने वेस्ट इंडिया के खिलाफ लड़ाई लड़ रहा है। ये जो लोग हैं, 2 ही लोग हैं इस देश को बेचने का यही का दो लोग है उस देश को भेजने के साथ उसको लेने का काम करने का काम कर रहा है.
What's going on here? Sanjay Jha, Ravi Srivastava, Sonia Gandhi, Hindustan, Rahul Gandhi, Hindustan. Sir, Indira is India is still haunting the Congress party. But आप नया ammunition दे रहे हैं लोगों को.
Pranesh.
You want me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Pranesh, my short answer to you will be that I've been in a lot of these sessions. There's too much of a rhetoric out here. Kindly ignore that. The larger issue is Sardar Patel. Let me tell you, Sardar Patel, as you and everybody on your program knows, your viewers know, banned the RSS. And, you know, the BJP, as you rightly mentioned, tries to appropriate. You can't appropriate Sardar Patel by building a massive statue.
No, I didn't say that. I said that Congress is trying to appropriate. That Congress is trying to, that's the irony, that Congress is trying to appropriate because you had forgotten about Sardar Patel. That Congress's worldview was limited to its own leaders. You know it. Ravi Srivastava ji, ये क्या है? सोनिया गांधी हिंदुस्तान, राहुल गांधी हिंदुस्तान, ईस्ट इंडिया, वेस्ट इंडिया, क्या चल रहा है ये?
Good evening, Pranesh. See, it's a usual enthusiasm among the speakers, and whatever they are saying, it does not really mean anything because appreciating their leaders in the public forum, it happens in everyone. Modi ji or even for Rajnath ji or anybody. The singing peons about them. It's a usual thing, not go deep into it. What I'm saying is that Sardar Patel, because BJP is totally, short of finding any of the freedom fighter in their rank and file. So they were clinging upon Sardar Patel that somehow try and create a divisive that Sardar Patel was actually from the RSS or BJP lineage and
Ravi Srivastava ji, sir, you can only cling on to something which has been abandoned. आपने नहीं छोड़ा होता तो कैसे cling करते? आपको एक click क्यों नहीं हुआ कि नहीं छोड़ना था? अब now that they are clinging to it, you have a problem. अब आपको याद आ रहा है, देखिए सर, सरदार पटेल पे भी एक 7-point रेजोल्यूशन है. इसमें इन्होंने क्या कहा है? इसमें इन्होंने कहा है, therefore once again this is point number 4 for the fact checkers. Point number 4 of this 2-page resolution. Therefore once again the Congress is ready to walk in the footsteps of Sardar Patel. Once again की क्या जरूरत पड़ी? क्यों भूल गए आप लोग?
You are just nitpicking the statement. What I am saying is, please don't compare Sardar Patel with Pandit Nehru like Ramesh Biduri or Giriraj Singh. Those were the legends. They knew what they are talking and they knew each other's how to respect. Sardar Patel in 1937, 1949, two statements in which they highly appreciated Pandit Nehru. So you will
nitpick those. I can't even read from your resolution. Tuhin Sinha, are you scared that the Congress party has finally found what it believes takes to defeat Modi? वो बोल रहे हैं, we are the custodians of nationalism. Our brand of nationalism is the real deal.
Good evening, Pranesh. Good evening, everybody. Ideally, the Congress party should refrain from holding these adhivations until they are ready to acknowledge the blunders which has led to their decimation in the last 11 years. Till they do that, these adhivations end up becoming a ranting spree, and a ranting spree can never help a party revive itself. Now, if they are ready to, dedicate themselves to the cause of Sardar Patel, let them come forward and support the abrogation of Article 317 Kashmir. Will they do that? Let them come forward and support UCC. Let them come forward and say that they erred on CAA. Let them come forward and support the CAA. This Congress party is the ultimate hypocrite political party that India has ever witnessed, and therefore their downfall is still, unlimited. Now, you just played out some videos. The Youth Congress leader in Gujarat is saying that we are fighting West India. Where does he draw this inspiration from? He draws it from Rahul Gandhi, who ends up saying we are fighting the Indian state. So I think, this Congress party needs to do a lot of groundwork. Rahul Gandhi, was absent throughout the Waqf discussion in parliament. He didn't know what to say. And today, all of a sudden, he finds it unconstitutional. These cliches will not help the Congress party. You have to explain what is unconstitutional. And, you are suddenly trying to be a Me Too. सरदार पटेल की लेगेसी आपके हाथ से चली गई है और अगर आपको लाइक आई मेंशन अगर सरदार पटेल की लेगेसी वापस पानी है तो आप आज स्टेटमेंट दे दीजिए कि आप एब्रोगेशन ऑफ आर्टिकल 370 को सपोर्ट करते हैं।
विवेक साइलस, पहले तो ये जो अधिवेशन चल रहा है उसमें पहले दिन ये हुआ कि राहुल गांधी जी ने शायद ये कहा कि देखिए यूपी में हमको अपना फॉर्मूला ठीक करना है, हमको एक रेजोल्यूशन लाना है और एक बेसिकली एक रिजॉल्व चाहिए कि आप ओबीसी को नेग्लेक्ट ना करें। ये अखिलेश यादव जी वाला फॉर्मूला अब ये अपनाना चाह रहे हैं, लेकिन अब ये देखिए अब रिजर्वेशन से राष्ट्रवाद पे भी आ गए, तो आप लोगों को कैसा लग रहा है ये?
देखिए प्रणेश जी, ये उन्होंने जो स्टेटमेंट दिया था वो बिहार में दिया था, उत्तर प्रदेश में नहीं दिया था। पहली बात, आप बड़े पत्रकार हैं, आपको ये मालूम होना चाहिए। दूसरी बात, किस पार्टी की क्या स्ट्रेटेजी है वो पार्टी समझे और पार्टी जाने। जो समाजवादी पार्टी की और इंडिया गठबंधन की उत्तर प्रदेश की स्ट्रेटेजी थी पीडीए की, जिसपे अभी भी हम चल रहे हैं, कायम है, मजबूती से लगातार आगे बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, उसने भारतीय जनता पार्टी को सत्ता पे में पूरी तरह से आने से रोक दिया है। और देश और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रवक्ताओं को, उनके नेताओं को ये भूलना नहीं चाहिए, चाहे कोई बिल हो, चाहे लोकसभा हो, उसमें भारतीय जनता पार्टी खासतौर से चंद्रबाबू नायडू और नीतीश कुमार जैसे लीडर्स की बैसाखियों पे खड़ी है। ये थी इंडिया गठबंधन की पावर, जिसको आप लगातार टीवी पे इस तरह से बोलते हैं जैसा कुछ हुआ ही नहीं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी 240 पे आके खड़ी हो गई है। इंडिया गठबंधन की क्या स्ट्रैटेजी है या कांग्रेस पार्टी की क्या स्ट्रैटेजी है, उसको राहुल गांधी और उनकी टीम को तय करने दीजिए। बिहार का चुनाव हो या आगे आने वाले बंगाल या उत्तर प्रदेश में जब 2027 में चुनाव होगा तो उसका रिजल्ट जो देगी वो देश की महान जनता देगी।
विवेक साइलस, आप सवाल नहीं समझ पाए। मैंने सोचा कि आप सीनियर नेता हैं तो आप उसको, उसकी ग्रेविटी को समझेंगे, लेकिन ये बिहार या गुजरात की बात नहीं है। द crux of my question and what I want you to answer is what is happening in the Congress party. They are passing one resolution after another. उनके ही नेता है सैम पिट्रोदा, उन्होंने कहा है कि रेजोल्यूशन कब तक करोगे, एग्जीक्यूशन तो हो नहीं रहा है। मैं वो पूछना चाहता था, लेकिन कोई बात नहीं, आप थोड़ा समय लीजिए, मैं तब तक डॉक्टर रंगनाथन के पास जाता हूं। डॉक्टर रंगनाथन सर, यू नो दिस रेजोल्यूशन ऑफ द कांग्रेस पार्टी, आई डोंट नो व्हाट टू मेक ऑफ इट, इसीलिए मैंने बोल भी दिया, रीड्स लेस लाइक अ रोड मैप, मोर लाइक अ मिराज। They have mentioned electoral bond scheme. Now imagine what it takes for the Congress to mention in as many words that the BJP took money under the electoral bond scheme. इन्होंने पैसे अभी तक वापस भी नहीं किए. This and the larger question.
Yes, good evening, Pranesh, and good evening to my fellow panelists. It doesn't look like a road map, it looks like a roadkill map. But there are two issues that have propped up, and one has propped up during this live debate. So let me address that first. On Congress honoring Sardar Patel, look, no other proof needs to be given other than the following. Nehru died 1964, Bharat Ratna 1955, Indira died 1984, Bharat Ratna 1971, Rajiv died 1991, Bharat Ratna 1991, Sardar Patel died 1950, Bharat Ratna 1991. The man who helped free Union Carbide's Warren Anderson was awarded Bharat Ratna in the same year as Sardar Patel, the man who helped free India. They should read V. Kurian's book to know how shabbily Sardar's daughter Maniben was treated by Nehru and the Congress. They should read Tara Sinha's book to know how Nehru advised Rajendra Prasad, the President of India, to not attend Patel's funeral. They should read M.K.K. Nair's book to know how Nehru abused Patel and called him a communalist. It took 2 wars, 100 million deaths and 60 years for 50 states and 400 million people of Europe to realize a union. That too a fragile one. Pranesh, Sardar Patel united 565 states and 400 million diverse people in 6 months. That was the man he was. And Congress never recognized this, never gave this man his due. Today they are talking about legacy. And as for those who claim that no one from the RSS took part in freedom struggle, I guess they don't know the legendary names like Dada Naik Chimur, Ramdas Rampure, Sant Tukoji Maharaj, Hemu Kalani, who gladly went to the gallows for our freedom struggle. Now to the second political issue. Look, the Congress has to wake up to reality. The problem is that the Congress doesn't want to wake up. It is like that car that met with a crash in 2014. The chassis was crumpled, the seats got torn off, the roof was crushed, the engine got blown off, the tires burst. But miraculously, one tire got detached and rolled off away from the crash site, rolled off and bounced and jounced along the road. That is what the Congress is. A lone, weather-beaten wheel that is still rolling along. It is miles away from the crash site, but expects the destroyed car to somehow magically assemble itself to its pristine glory and come hurtling down and meet the lone wheel. That's not going to happen, buddy. What can happen is that an Innova driven by Didi will come along. And the best the wheel can do is to become the Innova Stepney. Fact is, the opposition has too many drivers driving vehicles all running on near empty fuel. But the Congress still doesn't get this. Look, 10 seconds. How do voters make a call in any election? Of course, one may say that it is based on caste, religion, ethnicity, or personality of the candidate. Yes, truth in that. But a rational voter would always go by performance. And for that, there are indicators. Let's take 3 heavily anti-incumbent BJP states, okay? 1 large, 1 medium, and 1 small. And see how BJP fared in the recent elections. Large state, UP, landslide. Medium state, Gujarat, landslide. Small state, Tripura, landslide. And why is this happening? I'll tell you just one example. Look at Tripura. In 10 years, BJP vote share increased from 1% to 40%. Why? Because tap water connections increased from 3% to 56% households. Ayushman Bharat increased from 1% to 60% family. Look at Congress in these 3 states. Total wipeout. The fact is, Modi is delivering on his promises. Rahul is going back on his promises. Tabhi haar raha hai. Stepney ban ke ghoom raha hai.
Sanjay Jha?
Short answer. I think even if we are critical of leaders, let's not sound so disrespectful. Bhag raha hai, haar raha hai is a very pathetic and a very pedestrian way to talk of anybody in politics. But anyway, let's carry on. I'm not here to educate anybody. 2 points here, and I will say so emphatically for your viewers. First, the RSS, the BJP had no role to play in India's freedom movement. And no matter how hard you try, you can't appropriate any leader of the Congress party or anybody who was part of India's national movement. It's a shame. It's an inferiority complex for the right-wing ecosystem. Let them live with it. But the second question, I will agree with Anand. The Congress needs to fix this. The only way the Congress, Pranesh, can actually say, it's not enough to pontificate. You want to protect the idea of India. You want India to have less of communal hate that the BJP has spread. You want to make sure India is not authoritarian like it has become under Mr. Modi. You want to make institutions are not emasculated and dying like it is happening under the government. You have to win elections. I have a friend here in Vivek Salas, and he gave a good example of Uttar Pradesh. I remember, Pranesh, we were written off in Uttar Pradesh. But the combination of Congress and Samajwadi Party stopped the BJP. And think about it, Pranesh. If the BJP had done well, and remember, Mr. Modi believed that after the consecration ceremony of the temple, they were going to win all 80 seats in Uttar Pradesh. Credit has to be given to Samajwadi Party principally.
No, you give the, Sanjay Jha, I just have, 1 point to say. While I agree with the larger point and principle about, Congress and Samajwadi Party coming together to stop the juggernaut, so-called juggernaut of the BJP. The BJP is not saying EVMs were rigged in Uttar Pradesh, which is why, we got less seats. But even at the CWC, look what Mr. Khadge is saying. Voter fraud, etc., etc. When will this stop, sir? What will the voter, make of, narratives like these?
I'm glad you asked me that question because I have actually written about it earlier as well. In 2018, there was an AICC session in Delhi. And the Congress then took the decision that we will make sure that in the next election, which was 2019, We will work with the opposition to make sure that India has the EVM, but it will also have the ballot paper so that there is a 100% guarantee that there is no voter discrepancy or counting discrepancy. That's the problem of the Congress. It did not follow through on that. 6 years later, you're talking the same language. This is why the Congress has to wake up. Rahul Gandhi needs to not just leave it at Ahmedabad. They need to talk to every leader of opposition.
No, Mr. Jha, you've written a piece. You've said, I outlined the 5 things that Congress must do to stage a comeback. Point number 1, announce a shadow cabinet. Point number 2, appoint 5 vice presidents for East, West, North, South and Northeast. Streamline the CWC. You say it is bloated. Strengthen the Seva Dal. It should be like what RSS is to the BJP. Now look at the contradiction here. You abuse the RSS and then you want Seva Dal on the lines of the RSS. Sir, man bana lijiye aap. No, I'll come to you, sir. I'm only, reading what you've written. And then the last point is create a model state of development and governance to showcase as its case study for the rest of India. Now, what's missing, Sanjay Jha, and I, hope that you agree, is accountability. Who takes accountability for this kind of absurdity that, goes around in the Congress party? Rahul Gandhi, Hindustan, Sonia Gandhi, Hindustan, I will fight the Indian state. Where is the accountability, Sanjay Jha?
Can I, Pranesh, be very honest with you? I think these speeches are absurd. I have been in politics, but I have never been servile. I think in politics, the moment you treat your leader as a god, many people in the BJP, for example, called Mr. Modi Bhagwan and all that. It's all absolutely atrocious. No leader is a Bhagwan, okay? And the leaders that you have shown, I know these guys, I've met them very often. They should not be making these ridiculous speeches at all.
Sanjay Jha,
this is the problem.
You've met these people, but they are in the party, you are not. It tells you something about the party. I'm sorry to say this, but that's the problem. Tuhin Sinha, quick response. Dr. Ranganathan, I'm coming to you after this.
While Mr. Jha, my friend Mr. Jha, can fancy himself to be the coach of Congress party like Greg Chappell was at one point of time to a struggling Indian cricket team, fact is that his mentality is no different from the conceited and condescending mentality of Rahul Gandhi. Every time, to claim fiefdom over India's freedom movement, let me remind him that the India's freedom movement started way back in 1783 with Tilka Majhi's revolution, 100 years before the formation of the Congress party. To every time, look down upon the RSS. Let me also, say this very emphatically, that after the Purna Swaraj resolution in 1928 of the Congress party, many, in hordes RSS workers had participated in the freedom struggle. Also, after they had participated in the Quit India movement. But yes, the priority of RSS at that time was, organization of the Hindu society, because it very clearly believed that without the organization and, unity in the Hindu community, the country's future was at stake. So every time when you look down upon the Congress and, upon the RSS and the BJP, you are only feeling your condescending attitude. And losers, mind you, have no right to have this condescending attitude at this point of time.
Dr. Ranganathan, do you want to be Congress's coach and tell them something very quickly, sir, before we move on?
No, as Shane once said, I never need a coach. The only coach I've ever needed was a bus to transport me from the hotel to the cricket side. No, but, Sanjay has been very candid today, it has to be said, and he said all the right things, pressed all the right buttons. Except I need to say this to my dear friend Sanjay. He talked about, as you said, Congress having the need to have a Seva Dal. I'm afraid Congress already has a Seva Dal. These are the subservient stooges who do the seva in the Seva Dal of the dynasty. And the only reason my good friend Sanjay is still suspended is because he refused to be in the Seva Dal. So I would want this clarity from Sanjay. Why have a Seva Dal when Seva Dal serve the same purpose as Indira is India and India is Indira, Sanjay?
I will answer that with candidness. One of the problems of the Congress party has been, and I have friends who are no longer with the Congress, but we worked together for a long time, will all tell you that the problem has been that the party has never leveraged its talent because I think it's got obsessed with narrowing its focus on one or two leaders.
Right.
And, that is not fair on those leaders as well.
That's precisely the point, Sanjay Jha, or the point that I'm touching in the next debate. And I request you, sir, if you can, please stay on this because we are discussing about a patriot. It's a request. See, if you have the time, please do stay with us. Viewers,